Hi, I'm Tara. I'm the face behind Autism Little Learners, and I am a speech language pathologist, and I specialize in creating resources and materials and providing training to parents and educators of young children with autism. So thank you so much for being here. It's been a while since I've done a live, and I think that's a testament to how crazy and busy this school year has been. Let me know in the comments, where are you watching from? What's your connection to someone with autism? Are you an SLP, a special educator, regular ed, para, parent, related service provider, grandparent? Let me know in the comments, and I would love to hear from you. Here's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's always here. And I love that she is from the state of Washington, where my daughter has lived for throughout her college career. And anyway, super glad to see you here, Lisa. Hi, Jill, another of my besties from inside my membership. Jill and Lisa are always there and always on top of things. So good to see you. All right. Right now, we had like -9 yesterday, and it was snowy and -1 today, so it's pretty chilly, and we had some snow. So I'm in my comfies already. So I hope you're relaxing and in your comfies, because this school year has been a lot of work, right? Let me know in the comments. Do you guys feel the same? Oh, perfect. Marissa is here from New Mexico. She's an SLP like me, and she's sitting on her couch. Perfect. I hope and I want you guys to just relax, okay? So sit back, relax, take a little bit in here, and let me know if you have questions. So tonight we're going to be talking about 3 types of visuals or visual schedules that I like and use all the time in my classroom. So I'm going to switch over to my slides, and I'll come back to you here in just a minute. All right, so we are talking about using a visual schedule at preschool, and it can be elementary too. It doesn't have to just be preschool, but I'm at the preschool level, and I wanted to talk about these 3 types that can promote independence. And I'm going to go over here on the slide and just say, I wanted to show you this throwback visual schedule. So I don't know if you saw this blog post, but it's pretty funny. This is me back in, I'm going to come on here so I can see you a little bit. This is me back in circa, it'd be late 96 or early 97. I was pregnant with my daughter, who is now 24, and I was wearing the bib overalls were in. Hello, it was the 90s, right? And especially maternity bibs. Those were awesome. So anyway, the reason I show you this picture is one of my paras found these, dug them up, and last year said, hey, look what I found. These were our original pictures from visual schedules when I was first introduced back in the mid to late 90s when I was student teaching. We took Polaroid pictures of everything, and these pictures still had Velcro on the back from when we used them when I was learning all about autism and all about using visuals. So here I am working with 2 different students, and so they would just take a Polaroid picture and plop that on their schedule. So before we had clip art and all the technology we do now where we have pictures at our fingertips, we used Polaroids. So kind of a fun little fact there. All right, so just a few words about dependency. One thing when we are implementing visuals of any kind is, okay, how are we using this to help kids become less dependent on us? And of course, they're preschoolers. They are going to depend on us for things, and we're going to have to help them and walk them through things. But where's that point? What are those little baby steps in any kind of sequence or routine that we can help them become more independent? And so really be thinking of that when you're implementing any of these visuals. Really look at, okay, is this going to help them become more independent? What can I do to facilitate and help that? All right, so right here is a visual schedule. And this one I actually have right here. I'm going to come back to you. I think I just prefer being on screen so you guys can see me here. Okay, so here we go with the visual schedule. Here is Aiden's visual schedule. And you can make these so simply by just laminating and cutting out paper or cardstock or construction paper. I prefer file folders because once you laminate them, they stay pretty sturdy and they don't flop around. So visual schedules, you're going to lay out the sequence of what we're doing. And this can be at home, it can be at school, and it really just helps prepare kids for what's coming next. And I always like to look at it like, if I was doing an activity where I was really into it, let's say I'm reading a book and it's a mystery, a murder mystery, and I'm way into it, and someone just came and pulled the book out of my hand, I would be incredibly irritated and not happy at all. And like, no wonder kids have a bit of a tantrum. They really, really need to know what's coming next. And I kind of think this is all kids, not just autistic children, but even more so, kids with autism thrive on routine and predictability. And so visual schedules give that predictability. So one of the 3 favorite types is just a good old visual schedule. It can be horizontal, it can be vertical, it can be short or long. You know your students or your child best. And so for me, I start with just one picture on the schedule with little 3-year-olds. And really, you're just kind of modeling it to them and kind of showing like, oh, look we're going to go to the table and we're going to be cutting. And eventually, kids will see the picture and go to where they're supposed to go. And that is giving them that next little level of independence. And a good example is at the beginning of the school year, I had a lot of little 3-year-olds that were new. And they didn't know what was coming next. They didn't know what our routine was. And so we show pictures and help them, if they're able, to carry a picture to the next location. And just in the last week and a half, I have noticed that my students, when it's time for group time, I'll turn on the hello song. So it's kind of giving them a little bit of an auditory cue. We might turn off the lights. That gives them another cue. They know what that means now. So they come right over, several students now come right over to group and sit down. And I think back to the beginning of the year when just teaching that was hard. They didn't know what we were going to be doing. And so now with the visual schedule, I don't need it so much anymore for group time because they're picking up on those natural cues. How awesome is that, right? So, a lot of times, we'll have the schedule as a backup when you get to that point, but I'm not going to make them get out of their chair, come back and check their schedule just to go back to group, right? They did what they were supposed to do independently. So that's a little thing, I don't know, I wanted to share because it's something that kind of came up in my classroom. You guys, let me know in the comments, what age are you working with, and are you using visual schedules, individual visual schedules, and how are your kids doing with them? I feel like this year it took a little longer than the 6-week point to get to a point where there was more understanding and more routine built in. But I feel like it's just starting to come now, in probably after Thanksgiving. So it's a really great spot to be at. So visual schedules are amazing once you give them time to work. And what they'll do is reduce anxiety, like I said, create that predictability and that routine. Samantha said K-8 struggling to implement. Yeah, sometimes it can be really hard. I think a lot of the common struggles that people have, teachers have, are having other people buy in. So you might have this great idea for a visual schedule, and it even works for the student, but getting other people to use it in the general ed room, whether it's regular ed teacher, para, or even other special educators in the building. It really depends on their background. Samantha says a lot of her kids destroy them. Yeah. So these are things that are really, really helpful to know as I don't know if you've heard, but I'm putting together a course, like kind of a little mini course on how to make and implement visual schedules. And so this information is super helpful. So thank you. But those are some of the things that we can kind of troubleshoot inside that course and go over. But I'll let you know about that later. But yeah, Lisa says this year's been a slower start because of the distance learning and not being in school. Yeah, I feel like the routines and everything is just a little bit slower and more difficult this year. Okay, so I'm not going to go into detail about all of the, the visual schedules, because we'll be able to go much more into detail in that with the course that's coming up. But my second favorite visual schedule is a visual sequence. And so here, these are kind of like set sequences, and you can decide with your students or your children at home which one to use. Do you want to use a visual schedule where you kind of change everything out, or is it a sequence where it always stays the same? So like a toileting sequence. And I'm going to come full screen here so you can see. All right, so a toileting sequence, that would be an example of a sequence. You can make a sequence for anything, and you can make them on your own with Google Images. So if you didn't have clip art, you can go online and just print your own. This is one that I have made at the beginning of the year, and it's backpack on, mask on, get on the bus. So this was to help kids that and families and teachers that needed little ones to be wearing a mask on the bus, because a lot of places it's still mandatory on the bus. So just a little, it stays the same. You don't have to mess with it or deal with like pieces flying everywhere. It's just the same every time. This is a new free one I made, and I'll put anything I mention afterwards, I'll put in the comments so that you can take a peek, especially with some of the free resources. So this one is a big one right now. Like yesterday, it was too cold. We couldn't go on the playground, and we have to prep kids for that. And so before the end of the day, I prepped one of my students, and he asked probably like 6 more times, and I let him hold it, and guess what? Transition to the bus without going on the playground first went perfect, and it's because he was prepared. So this is a tiny little sequence, but having something like this, I have one for cold, one for raining, one for storming, and then of course one that says yes, we get to go on the playground today. So if you put those on a ring and keep it by the door, you can grab those, and that provides that consistency too. So I'll be sure to link that for you. In a couple weeks, I can't remember, no, I don't think it's next week, I think the following week, on our Facebook Live, I'm going to be going over for home and school, like specific sequences and kind of why they work, and give you a bunch of different examples. But we have up here in Wisconsin and Minnesota, we need these right now. And in fact, one of our preschool teachers was using something like this. But these, again, you can take pictures of your students or your children, or just get Google Images, or buy one that's pre-made. Thank you, Jen. She loves the resource, such a help. I think she was talking about the playground one maybe, because that one is like one of those super simple little things, but it helps a ton. So washing hands, brushing teeth, all of those sequences and routines that happen a lot, and that the steps don't change. So think of that. That will save you time too. If you just have in different rooms a ring with all of the visual sequences that might apply. Taking a bath, getting dressed, getting ready for bed. This is one that we made for a parent group, and I put it out for free. I don't know if you have all gotten it, but on here you can see it says going to the store. So I have several options for going to the store just to prepare proactively and let your children know or your students know what's going on. This one's more for home, but okay, we're gonna go in the car and then to the store, and we're gonna sit in the cart or push the cart, pay, and then go back in the car. And then there's just some different ones. Okay, we're gonna get the cart and we're gonna walk and get food and supplies and put them in the bag. And then if you go sometimes, like these can be used too, a lot of times parents in my class are saying, well, they want to get a toy every time. And so this one, you could have the one that says like, yes, we can get a toy. And then you can teach them, okay, we're going to go today, but no toy. And just preparing ahead of time, this can start to kind of help with some of those obstacles. And okay, here's one for getting in the car. And so we get in the car, sit down, buckle up, sorry for the shining, go and look outside. And same thing, instead of a car seat, it's, or here we have a car seat and we're gonna buckle. And I think the other one was a seatbelt. Anyway, so this set that's free has going to the store with a bunch of different options and getting in the car. And again, you can put it on a ring and just have it ready to go. And when we did our parent group at school a couple weeks ago, everyone loved this and they were super excited to use it. I think it's practical and kind of gives some hope that some of those community trips will go better. All right, I'm going to flip back here. So I'll share some more of those sequences in a couple weeks when we talk more in depth about that. All right, the third one. If you have followed me on Facebook or Instagram, you know that I love the portable schedule. They are so easy. They help keep you organized. And whether you use them at home or in the classroom, they're the best. So I'm going to go big screen again so I can share. All you need is a pencil pouch. I have a list of these. You can get them on Amazon. During back to school, I like to get them at Walmart and they're super cheap. But you can buy a pack and get all these different colors. This kind is nice because it does have an extra little pouch if you want to put some fidgets in there or anything else that you might need. But all you do, you get that, and then you put a strip of Velcro across. So this one, the pictures are on it already, but you can see here the strip of Velcro that you're going to put across. And then all you're going to do is take, I like something sturdier like the file folder. So take the file folder and laminate it, and then just put the Velcro pieces on. And then inside there you can put all the pictures that you need, and you could have a couple of these if needed. But then when you put it in, everything is not like in a big pile mess at the bottom. I know I've been in the classroom enough. Like, you need to access stuff quickly and efficiently. If you have to search for a picture, by the time you find it, you've lost them, right? Can anyone relate to that? Like, you're looking for a picture, you can't find it, and the moment's gone, or they're gone, and it's hard to get that back. Like, if you have the pictures ready, you can kind of save those transitions, have better transitions. So here you can just pull out, okay, I can see bathroom. I'm going to put bathroom on after craft. So, okay, we're going to do morning meeting, and then sensory table, and then recess, and then a craft, and then bathroom. So yes, okay, everyone's saying yes, yes. Like, not being able to find stuff is the worst. So, and then the nice part too is like, okay, all done morning meeting, and it can just disappear, right? And you can slide it back in. And so that helps too, to see the pictures go away, which really signifies in a concrete way, all done with that. So, has anyone tried the pencil pouch schedule? I know some people that are in my visual supports Facebook group. We did a challenge in August and we all made a whole bunch of stuff. And I'll post the link to that group if you want to join us. But in that challenge, we made all kinds of visual supports and then posted pictures and shared them. It was super awesome. Anyway, so that I love. I love, love, love the portable schedule. All right, back to it. So those are the 3 types of visual schedules that I love. One is kind of a sequence, but it's kind of a variation. You know, it's still that sequence of events, but it's just stuff that stays the same basically every time. So much easier than Velcroing them on. Jill says the pencil pouch makes it more convenient. I agree. So look at this little guy. How cute. He was helping look through the pictures. All right, so if you're wondering, okay, where do I start with just visual supports in general? I know Jill and Jen and Lisa, you have seen this, but if you have not downloaded the visual support starter set, you're going to want to do that. And in here, it gives an explanation about visual schedules, and it gives you all the things you need to get started, all the pictures to get going, and just everything you need to kind of just get started, and then we can expand on it as we do other trainings. So I will post a link for this, and then I have something super fun that I'm excited to tell you about. Oh, here's a couple things. I'm going to move my picture here. Here's a few things that you can make while you're in the visual support starter set. So you'll make an all done bucket, star chart, and there's explanations about that, a weight mat, and there's the visual schedule, a first then, and the adapted books. So the visual support starter set has all of those in it, and then an explanation for all of them. And then if you go inside the Facebook group, the visual supports group, inside there, if you go up to guides, you'll see a video of replays of Facebook Lives that explain each one of these and how to get started with it. So if you're looking for a place to start, that is it for sure. Downloading that and going to the visual supports group. All right, so like I said, next steps, the visual support starter set, the visual supports group, and then I'm announcing I'm doing a challenge, and I hope you guys want to do it with me. I'm going to find it here so I can show you. There we go. Okay, so I am going to put this PDF in the comments, or a link to this PDF, and it's called Hop on Board the Train to Learn More About Visual Supports. And if you're like me, I like learning about things several times before it sticks, or I like going back to the basics to really kind of bring myself to the roots and go, okay, I have some new students, or oh yeah, I forgot about that. I need to go back to that. So there are going to be prizes. This is going to run tomorrow through December 27th, and I'm going to be doing Facebook Lives every week in that time. And on December 28th, when I do my 4th Facebook Live in this visuals series, I'm going to announce winners. And the grand prize winner is going to win a free registration to the Visual Schedules Made Easy online course that is still under construction, but it will be done and ready to launch by January 17th. So you can win that. You can win the Visual Schedules resource, which is like hundreds of pictures that you can put on your visual schedule. And then the third place will be the self-regulation activities, which is another bestseller. And there are visual sequences in there for how to calm down. And then there's pictures so kids can choose, like, I feel sad, I need a fidget toy, or I need a hug. And so all of these prizes I'll give away on December 28th. So be sure to go in as I post these lives. They're all there, but you can RSVP or click on going, so then you'll at least get a reminder so you don't miss it. But I'm so excited to do that. And I wanted to show those of you that haven't seen the visual supports starter set, just a quick little video. And this just kind of shows what's in it. I have no music for you this time on this, but you get the idea. So these are all the things you can use in the visual support starter set. All right, so after I'm done, I am going to go hop on and I'm going to put the link for the Hop on the Train to learn more about visual supports. So you're going to get a little packet and it's going to tell you all of the things, how to win. They're super easy. You stop at each train station and pick 2 things to do off of each square. You can be an educator, you can be a parent, a grandparent. Anyone can participate in this. You don't have to just be a teacher. So read the directions and there's some frequently asked questions. And what you're going to want to do is print off your train ticket, and each one has a number, 1 through 5, and those correspond to those squares that have things that you can do. So you do 2 of them from number 1, the pink square, and you just cut out your circle and you punch your ticket. And once you fill these up, you can post it in, I'm going to put a pinned post at the top of the Facebook group, not the main big page, but the visual supports group. And in there, you guys can post when you're done. You can also message me, or I'll comment on there to make sure that I have you marked down, and then you'll be put into the drawing for December 28th. So let me know if you have questions along the way, and I also would love to see your progress along the way. So if you get 2 punches done this weekend, take a picture and just post it inside the Facebook group. So I will put all these links down, and tomorrow's hump day, you guys. So we're going to get there. We're going to make it through the end of the week, and we're going to make it to winter break. And we're going to come back relaxed and fresh for the new year, 2022. And you guys, guess what? My birthday is on 2/22/22. Like, how awesome is that? I think I'm going to have to take the day off or something. So anyway, have a wonderful week, and I'll see ya next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.